Hey guys, it's Friday. We had one hell of a week. We had hail, a lot of rain, and just crappy weather. So I didn't get much time. Well, I didn't touch the car, honestly. I couldn't get to it. So I'm going to see what I can get done today for you guys. So these you guys have something to look towards. But yeah, let me get you guys swapped out here and let's see what we had. I should stop moving the phone this fast. Where we left off originally, let me just pull this and lift this, is we got the engine inside, but we need to get it more backwards and tilt it upwards. So what I'm going to do is I've got a few restrictions. We're at the point where we have to cut more. So I'm going to have to pull the seats as I don't want to get grinding sparks on them. Not that it really matters. They nasty. Oh, it's got still things inside like rat pee and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut around this base. I'm going to cut this section out, just this piece for now. I might as well cut the whole tunnel out while we're at it. We'll see how I feel. Now I'll just do that whole section there because I'm still deciding what I want to do. I might just cut around there. I'm deciding if I want to take out the spot welds or if a rough cut or something like that. But more of the story, I want to put the tunnel back in with the gearbox inside. So I want to get that piece away so we can lift the gearbox up higher and we're going to lift the engine up higher. So we're going to take the bonnet off, take the seats out, and then let's get cutting. Sorry about that. So I decided every time I'm going to record a video, especially on time lapse, I'm going to put my phone on silent because what happened now is somebody called me the second I started recording and it stopped the recording. I wonder if there's a setting I can change, but we didn't miss much. We took the seats out, we took the bonnet off and the front cradle off. So my tool set is still soaking wet and started to rust, but that's okay. I'm going to get you guys set up on that side and then let's cue a video of me cutting that small piece out and then we can decide from there what else we're going to cut and move around. So let's cue the music.
Late night garage, tape deck on, shadows paint the chassis, hands and song. Bolted dreams into a rusted frame, quarter panels whisper my name, blueprint scribbles and coffee stains, old Ford heartbeat calling my veins. I trade the stock for something bold, strip the past, let the story unfold. Turn the key, let the midnight bleed. V6 rear wheel drive, feel the streets believe. 2000s chrome and a rebel soul, built from nothing. I'm right where I belong. Heat is gone, but the map's still lit. Aftermarket radio tuned to it. Drop the axle, set it back for grip. Hands remember what they need to know. One more bolt, one more mile to go. Heart and metal fuse and grow. Turn the key, let the midnight bleed. V6 rear wheel drive, feel the streets bleed. Thousands crawl and a rebel song. Built from nothing, I'm right where I belong. Roll the windows down, let the night in. My custom Ford, new life begins.
Guys, I am not making this up. I kid you not. This is why we don't cut the original cross member. This is why I used the demo one. If I lift the engine high enough, look at this. We can actually, from the looks of it, we can use the factory Ford subframe without cutting it out. This is why I use the scrap one. So, judging if the engine is where it is now, I can go a bit more back. I have to go slightly more back, but I have to cut again. But yeah, we can go a bit more back, further back, and it's in. Like, I kid you guys not. Look at how high this is. I'm not sure if it's too high. Basically, inside the car, we're gonna have to cut the small piece out. But let me get you guys on the tripod quickly, and let's see how the tunnel fits. If it's too high, we can obviously lower it. But if we can go this high inside the car, then we might not have an issue with the factory Ford crossmember, and that would be awesome. Let's have a look quickly. I can't believe it's clearing that well. Let's get this heavy piece of metal. Again, this tunnel is super heavy. We haven't test fitted it yet, so we're doing this together. I am not making this up. It fits so well. The gearbox is slightly higher, like we're not talking about a lot. Gearbox can go down about 10 millimeters, but damn, why does this work so well? I kid you not. The gearbox can go slightly lower. I took it too high. But look at that. Tunnel's basically flush with hanging on top of the gearbox. So if we do that small clearance, and the engine obviously has to go down a bit. It looks like the car is pointing down, so the engine actually needs to go down one brick, half a brick. So we might, let me get you guys in here because I need to see on your screen. Yep, I know I didn't remove the drive shaft yet. I will do that eventually. But look at that. This is the sump, by the way. This is not even the bell housing clearance. I kid you not, I'm not making this up. We might need to cut away the steering portion, but it looks like it's going to clear it. It won't clear the steering rack, but it's definitely going to clear, well, everything else. How freaking awesome is that? So yeah, I think let's go one brick down. Let's push this in. Get you guys set up here. Let's pull one brick out quickly. But I'm happy with this. Engine has to lean down a bit because let's get you guys further away. There we go. We can pull that brick quickly. Like, I am not making this up. Wait, let me take you guys with. So now when we went lower, we can go more backwards. Oh, the shadows is horrible. So guys, look at that clearance. Look at all that clearance. What? I think this is it. This is the spot where I'm going to have it. I want to go a bit more back. Yeah, you see in the tunnel. I need to take one brick out of here as well. At least half a brick. But this is where I want to be. Still got the jack down here. Maybe I can get it out. I'm gonna tripod you guys, so I don't need to put you guys down. Hope you guys actually went through this whole series without seeing a proper butt crack of me. And I would do apologize if you guys accidentally saw one. Yeah, we still got the jack here, so let's lift it up a bit. So we can pull one brick out. Okay. Let's level it down. We're gonna go a bit more lower than my liking. So we still need to get a little bit higher, but come on guys, it doesn't get as good as this. We need to go a bit forward with the car stall. See if we can push it a bit. So yeah, the car's wheels is flat, and yeah, I'm not the strongest person in the world, so I am fighting a battle. Let's just see if we're hitting somewhere. Feels like we're hitting somewhere. Yeah, we're hitting here. Okay, so sorry guys, you can't see what I'm seeing, but the engine does need to come a bit more. It's central. Okay, let me grab the camera. See where the original firewall goes. So I actually want to go back there. So I'll find a way to bend the metals either inwards or backwards. But this is the height. This is still too low. I want to go slightly higher and more backwards. But look at the space here. So the only place where we're hitting it is the starter dial housing, and we're hitting it against that structure point over there, the mounting. But we can cut that lip off, so we just need to cut off the piece where it's binding. You can actually cut that whole piece out and just weld a piece of flat metal in there, just to make it tidy. And we're obviously gonna have to cut nice and round and clean up all this and put like a corner patch, etc. So we will tidy this up, and we also will probably redo the engine. I'm not sure we're going to take it fully apart, but just the essentials at least, because I think this engine is full of oorknipers. I'm not sure what the English word is, but we call it in South Africa, we call it oorknipers or skoemansvlooie. When I lifted one of those bricks, it was like 100. Damn it. this looks so good. Why does this work so well? Even the low side, look at that. Look at that. No sump, no gearbox. It's flush. It's higher than the actual body of the car. Ooh, I'm shaking. Look at that. It's flush inside. It's higher than the actual body. So we can put a skid plate even if we want to. And we can maybe even just cut the top section of the subframe. I've got another one we can cut as an example, but with this one in, rebuild mounts and the brace to keep the engine and the gearbox bolted in, then we can do all the proper measurements and ensure we have what we need. But yeah, it's just not bad for a few hours spent. I'm lucky where this engine is. I'm happy where this engine is. The sump is literally basically level with the subframe, and it is actually still too low. The engine needs to come up with about, well, if you're anybody from America, an inch, or about, thinking about 15 millimeters. Don't correct me in inches, I don't know. I'm just gambling here, but I guess about 15 millimeters. Everything needs to go up still, and that's more than enough. Look at this. And the next challenge is going to be the branches. So I am not looking forward. There's a bolt there. I am not looking forward to figure that part out. Let's see how it would look like. We need to unwind those bolts. Make it a 13 quickly. Tomorrow, I'm going to get joined by a friend of mine that wants to help on the project. So you guys get to meet him as well. He's going to join me on this journey. Not one stud we can actually use to keep it in position. But yeah, I didn't really think about the manifolds as yet. But this is where we do trial runs, right? Okay, new problem. But again, we can build. I'm not even sure if it fits for this side. But there's manifolds. We'll probably just use the flanges. These are rusted like crazy. But yeah, exhaust is last of my worries. Again, I don't even know from what car these are from. We can run them. We can run them to the front. What do you guys think about that? They were clear going forward. Yeah, that's another day's problem. For now, the problem we have, gearbox mounts and etc. But damn, this fits so well. What I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to call it here. I'm going to take a bunch of pictures, send it on a few groups of stuff I'm on, and edit this video tonight so you guys got a small taster. I think we should go forward with the tunnel. No, I think we need to come backwards with the engine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. But I'm actually very happy with this fitment. Like, honestly, this is crazy. If we go with the cradle, this is heavy. We fit the cradle back on. Loads of space for the radiators in there. I like. We're not going to run this air cleaner, that's for sure. I'll probably 3D print a custom air cleaner bracket. But air cleaner is hitting. I'm happy. That's where I wanted it to hit. We can make some nice intake, custom intake for this. Or later on we can get an EFI intake. But for now, I want to run full on carburetor. But I am so happy with this. Cool. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys have an awesome Friday. Cheers. Hello guys, it's the next day. Sorry, I forgot to record. We got the Sierra front suspension. Me and my friend went today. Went to go fetch it. We got the subframe from the Sierra with the steering rack. We want to see what's going to be the best solution. Don't judge me, I don't have an engine mount. So we're going to work out what's going to be the best solution to get this engine fitted. I know I should have recorded when we removed the subframe, but it's not really that much of effort. It was just like 3 bolts this side, 3 bolts in this 4, and it just dropped down. So here's the subframe we're going to be using with the diff. There's the back piece of the tunnel. Nice rusted corner there with the brace, so we can test fit that later on. But for now, as you can see, it's just roughly everything in here again. The car's shifted. A lot has happened. Well, not a lot has happened off camera, but just a few things. Finally got that brace off. I grinded it. I think I should just put a little spray paint of a rattle can on it just to protect it from rust. Things we only get surface rust here in my area, so I'm not really too much worried about rust or surface rust. But yeah, just to show you guys, you haven't missed much. It was just tedious to go fetch the suspension, get all that out, and yeah, getting it here. That diff is heavy, like crazily heavy. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to quickly cut that corner off. I told you guys it's going to be an obstacle, so I'm going to cut it straight at the edge, and then I'll probably, I might want to cut the top section off a bit. But we got the subframe, so we got an idea where we're going to put everything. So I think the best option now is I'm going to cut that piece, push the car back forward, and then we can do another test, and then maybe we can put the tunnel back and then put the other piece of the tunnel back over it. Then decide where we're going to cut it. Maybe I'll cut that rear section out as well. We'll see how things go. But I know everything's rusted, everything is dirty. We'll clean up everything properly and do proper fabrication works once we've determined the best solution on the suspension wise and what we're going to do and what we're going to use. So yeah, let me get you guys set up and then let's go for it.
Under the faded moon, no silver spoon, no velvet view, just scraped up dreams and a crooked tune. You and me on a rent-paid beat, racing street lights with a mismatched feet. Swore we climb above the dust and rust, turn these small town ghosts into something to trust. We learned to light fires from the coldest nights, pulled our names from the bottom of the drum, feel it roll. This is the moment we take control. We rise up louder than the doubt, burn bright, tear the ceiling out. Hands up, we're not backing down. From the basement to the battleground. We rise up louder than the doubt,
Okay, look at his hands. Okay, I know I should have taken out the CVs when I had the chance, but I don't have my strong hand also. I can't break that freaking bolt. So I tried to pull it out, but I know it's got a circlip hidden in somewhere. So I just went, screwed it, and I just smashed the, I know it's hardened steel inside the drive shaft, so I knew if I hit it hard enough, it would just shatter and let the bearings fall out, and then I can just pull out the whole cup. And it's an easier way to do it. I should do this side still, but luckily it's at the back, so it's not in the way, because I was bumping against it, pinching it there. So this is the Sierra crossmember inside. We can make this work. We can either use this one and bolt a hole, nice shielding where we can weld it to, keep the original Sierra mounting, or the Sierra subframe. We've got the Sierra steering rack, which we're probably going to have to use. We have to extend it on. We're just going to have to make a hole up here, a new hole for the steering shaft to go through. Because the original one is, well, we can't use it. And then, like we said, originally, we're going to put the left hub on the right side and right hub on the left side. Or we can use the Sierras, but it's got small brakes. We'll see how the suspension goes. So we got a lot of options. We actually might need, can I actually use the hubs? No, let's stick with the Fiesta because we know it. And I know it's strong and stable. So we can swap out the nut hubs on both sides. And then that should resolve. Those tie rod ends are way long enough. We can even unwind it a bit more if we need to. The gearbox is, well, back again where it was. I wonder if I should quickly put another section of the tunnel in. Let's do that quickly. Look at you guys understand. See what it looks like with a tunnel on both sides. Because I'm actually curious. Obviously the tunnel is rusted, so well, the other side has got a whole big rust patch on it. Sorry for all the movement, guys. I know I suck at this. Let's get you guys situated there. It's coming from this side. So you can maybe see. Just move the grinder, this cable, this antenna cable. They should be going. It's probably gonna go, yeah. No, I think there's about there. Okay. Just push that one in. And then get this rear section. See if it's longer or shorter. Oh. Ah. From the back to there, it's almost identical. So you guys gotta hear my mouth. I got it. Don't worry. This is nice. It's a good thing I cut this section away. We'll probably knacker that also. But what I want to do is, I don't want to cut you short. So, and I want this brace. So we can move back with the brace a bit. And we've got a good indication where to cut you at the back. Another height that's almost exact. Let me get you guys in here. we'll probably stack weld these. I'll probably cut one section off, and then I'll maybe just cut this in the inside, and then we'll probably double the welds, double on the welds. But ironically enough, this piece is almost exactly the height as this one. That's good. We can cut right around there. And then obviously I need to decide where I'm going to cut this to weld this to the floor. But wherever we're cutting, we'll just be welding these pieces back in. I like this tunnel brace. I don't think I'm going to use the tool. I'm going to use tool back here, because this piece is about this height. So this goes way a bit lower. So we'll probably cut this off here. I think I'm probably going to cut this out. I was thinking of taking and drilling out the spot welds. I'll see. I'll need to start figuring out. We've got the place for the engine. I'm happy where the engine is. So we need to start thinking about the tunnel and the braces and stuff. I'm considering if I should just take this off. I don't know how many spot welds it's going to be. I don't think too many. Then we take it off, and then we can figure out if we're going to put this over this or this over that. And then trimming all the edges where we're going to weld it, and then sure we cut the inside of this one. I'm just going to overlap it about this. So we're going to have an overlap. This is going to be plug welded basically to the floor. So we got a double attachment. Same with here. This is the overlap of the tunnel, and this was actually the spot where it was spot welded to the floor. I cut it a bit close, but it's actually not that close because the sound damping is about this thick. So about this size material to spot weld all the way there. And I'm going to do the same with this. We've got a structure point here. I'm not exactly sure why this is a structure point here on the Sierra, because the gearbox mount is there. I don't know if it had a solid drive shaft or if it had one with a knuckle that was split. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But same here. We're going to cut it nicely. We'll weld it. We'll double weld it. Same with the on the front. We'll double weld it. And we'll tidy it off. We'll make it neat. We'll put some seam sealer everywhere, like the professional guys do it. At least we can get some water out of the car. It will help. But the engine, I'm happy where it is. Steering rack at distance is like actually spot on. Ooh, dirty hands. The gearbox is still at its height. The engine's at its height. We are close there. We're obviously going to have to cut that piece still out and figure out how we're going to bind the tunnel there. We've got this gap to make up, so we need to figure out how we're going to bind those two together and as tightly and neatly as we can. But before I do anything, I need to get a gearbox mounting. I need to buy one so I can bolt in the gearbox onto the tunnel, and I'll order a new engine mount. I got some pigeons being funny over here. I need to order a new engine mount, so we can just have two engine mounts. The other one's like semi-busted, just so we can have a rough, an exact idea where what's going to be and where we want it. We can make the subframe removable, like unbolting it, or be able to be unbolted. So we can make big plates where we can stack it on the chassis rails and weld it to it. Well, we're not going to weld it to the chassis rails. We're going to bolt it to the chassis rails. But like, if we draw holes through the chassis rails to be able to bolt it, this is a structure piece where the gearbox mounting was. We can put a big flat plate from here to there, or we can make something out nice, and we can bolt it to this subframe. And luckily we've got access inside the chassis rail, so we can get like a solid tube we can press inside here, and just to ensure this chassis rail doesn't get crushed. And we can maybe put an extra reinforcing plate inside both sides of the rails, and yeah, that should tighten the cross member in pretty installed the subframe in pretty well. You can see it's like so close to everything. It's like it's meant to be. Obviously, we'll be cutting or trimming a few pieces, but honestly speaking, we can, in theory, just make a proper new one. We can take like round bar, quite thick round bar, about this, and we can bend one from there, get it bent nicely, run here and back there, and we can weld a bracket on it for the engine mount, and that can go out to the chassis rails on both sides. If we want to do something neat and tidy, that can also work. I can get some roll gauge steel. It's about the same thickness as that, about 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters. 1.8 should be fine. And we can get the tubes bent according to my specifications. I can get a few extra 90s bent, and we can weld it to that subframe. We can cut the one end off. We can run it nicely through here. We can run it back there, and we can bolt. Just put 2 brackets on where we can bolt the steering rack on, and obviously we're gonna make a flange, a flat bar, and weld the tubes to there and there as well. If you want to tidy this and make this super clean and neat. But clearance is not an issue anymore. We're clearing back there. I cut that section out. That side we're clearing as well. The engine's actually leaning a bit more to that side, but we are clearing all around, like super clean. And we still have to cut those corners out as well. So I'm stoked with this. I'm happy with this. Tunnel also super happy. We'll just need to clean up everything, make it tidy. Then we can fully weld it once I've got a gearbox mounting and I've got the exact height of the gearbox on this tunnel. Luckily, it's flush with the floor. So we only need to get the gearbox mounting so we can bolt the gearbox on to make sure we've got it exactly in the place we want it. Engine mounts, and get it bolted on. And I think from there, oh, I actually hate those engine mounts. And then basically from there, we can use this subframe and bolt the whole brackets and stuff for it to be bolted on and welded on. Or we can just bolt a strong one and a beautiful one from round bar. We can get it neat and we can get it professionally bent because we can't bend it, and we can cut it to the lengths. We can do all the measurements. We can cut it to the lengths and weld all the flanges and brackets to it. Then another one from the chassis. We can make it so we can fully unbolt it and rebolt it if we need it. But I'm happy with this. I'm honestly happy. So feel free to like roast me in the comments. I know there's a lot of things I can do differently. I'm always up for suggestions, tips, advice. And the bumper's gone. It's off for fabrication, so it's superb. I'm going to tidy up. It's getting dark. Sun's going down. I'm going to go pack all this stuff ready. I'm going to pack all the stuff away. And then maybe tomorrow we can continue cutting some stuff. But I want to get the tunnel in. I want to get the tunnel flush, just level, and in a position where we can actually start welding it in. But again, take the brace off. I'll trim it up neatly. And then we get the gearbox mountings. We can bolt everything up. We can get the exact measurements for the front. And yeah, then we can call it. Good morning, guys. It's Sunday. So we're back at it. Ooh, what am I doing? Standing in the shadow in the sun. No. There's a few parts I need to order, like engine mountings and stuff, before I can actually, fully go further. I also want to get tubes bent. I need to go buy tubes and get it bent. So I need to get the sizes or rough estimate what I want to do. So one is I removed the other ST150's exhaust, and this one's old exhaust. I won't be using them. So we've got some pretty nice 90-degree bends over here I can utilize. So what I want to do is I want to lift the engine back up. I want to take out that subframe, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those two 90s out, and then I'm going to weld them to the bottom subframe and basically make my own cross member. So I'm going to weld it to there, and then curve, weld it in the middle, and then curve it back that side. I just want to see what it looks like, or we'll use the 90 bends to go from there to there, from here to there. But I might be able to get another piece from the other exhausts off to use for that. I do have like two exhausts on two of the other cars. They're quite thick, but it's not going to be a permanent. I'm just going to tack weld them, so I can just figure out what to do instead of wasting new pipes and stuff. Might as well play with some old piping and stuff, just to get a rough estimate of what I'm going to do, when I want to put what. And yeah, so I'm going to finish taking some measurements, and I'm going to rough cut these, and then I'll cut them to the correct lengths, and then we can maybe tack weld them in. And we still need a brace for there, but again, we got flatter engine mounts, so if we want to go closer, I don't really like these engine mounts, so we might use other ones, other style ones. But let's see where this day is taking us. I only got a few hours, so probably won't spend too much time on it. It's a Sunday, I don't want to make too much noise. But let's see what I can figure out with everything that's lying around here, and then we can take it from there. So yeah, let's cue the music.
Late night garage, tape deck on, shadows paint the chassis, hands and song. Bolted dreams into a rusted frame, quarter panels whisper my name. Blueprint scribbles and coffee stains, old Ford heartbeat calling my veins. I trade the stack for something bold. Strip the past, let the story unfold. Turn the key, let the midnight bleed. V6 rear wheel drive, feel the streets believe. 2000s chrome. Gone, but the map's still lit. Aftermarket radio tuned to it. Drop the axle, set it back for grip. Every bolt's a promise on this trip. Night oil dripping, a steady hum. Paint still wet, but the engine's grinning. Turn the key, let the midnight.
Okay guys, sorry, I had to stop there. I was just checking boogers all the way. I am not a welder, professional welder, and I can't find my flux core for my CO2 because I don't have gas. I bought a flux core, and the gap back there was pretty high, so I just booger welded it up. I don't know why, because I'm going to cut it down anyway. So I wanted to just put like a few thick tack welds, but I just couldn't get a bite for some reason. And the distance is quite long. You can see this one as well. Um, yeah, it's welded a bit up there because I burned a hole in the pipe a few times. So I think what we're gonna do, if we use these flat mounts, I can basically get another bent pipe welded to here, and then literally just take it with the curvature. Oh, sorry guys, take it from here with the curvature into this. We're gonna put a flat piece of flat metal. We'll draw a hole straight through the chassis. We'll put a stud inside, like a tube, a solid tube. We can put a bolt through, and we can maybe put reinforcing, but it's already got a reinforcing plate inside there. I think we might just need to put one that side because there's not one. And I'm quite happy where this tube is. This is a Fiesta exhaust, so it's not. I'm gonna get a bigger, proper one bent, like one solid piece on a joint like this. This is just so I can get the measurements, and I'll get one that's slightly longer, so I can cut it exactly like the curve. Or what I was thinking was maybe cutting open this subframe and pushing it in there, then welding it. So I think that's what I'm rather going to do, because this can actually almost fit straight into there. So yeah, but nevertheless, we'll get a pipe bent up we can use. I'll just grind that booger welds off. It's actually quite sturdy, but just for top weld. But yeah, I think the next pipe will bend one goes from here and up to there. Or we can actually just put it like a 90-degree and weld it to a flat piece of metal. So we can take it from here, and then we can put a bolt straight through with a mount. Basically similar like that one day. And for the steering rack, let me sit on my buttocks. Yeah. And then the steering rack, we can just put a flat bar from there, both ends basically pretty much like this flange. We'll build a new one, and the steering rack can rest. Basically, if it's right above here, it's perfect. The length should go reach there. That will go in there. The steering column and the tie rod ends will go inside by the wheel. What we can do, as you can see, this one was notched quite inwards. What we can do is, I try to go down with the angle a bit. Let's see if we can put it on top of it or below it. It's gonna be about, just so let's see the sump. So guys, you can't see what I'm saying, but yeah, it's gonna sit about there. So now you can push the steering rack a bit higher. Sorry guys, this is so difficult with one hand, and I can't put you guys down. But we can put it slightly higher. But nevertheless, this is where it's gonna rest. So it's moving the camera so much. So tube from there in there. I'll get a new one bent. I'll cut those booger welds out. I have to clean up all that areas, all that cuts and stuff as well. What we can do is we can actually cut the tube open, and then we can put it over those joints and basically seam weld it all the way through here, both sides. This side I can cut it away, and then we can run it there, and then we can run a strong bead all the way through here. You can actually do it without cutting the tube open. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the way to go. A tube from the point where it's bolted straight through here and straight through there, and yeah, let's run here. And we just simply run our bend from here to there. We can get the engine mount tapped into there. Same on this side. Steering rack will be just smooth flanges. and then we're done. That's it. There's nothing more to it. It's so simple. And then we have, yeah, we have a subframe, a functional subframe. Don't quite know that drive shaft. You guys saw me on that one. I smashed it out. I got annoyed. I couldn't get the bolt loose. And I know it's spring steel, so I just hammered it with a hammer and it broke. I'm super tired. You're probably going to have arc eyes. I'll just scratch your eyes from welding because I'm too lazy to go fetch my helmet. And yeah, you guys go on. You guys don't need to tell me how bad it is for my eyes, and I can get arc eyes, etc., etc. I know I've been through this a few times. Um, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I think this will work out well, way nice. So I'll get a tube bent, and then I'll get all the measurements now. I'll draw it on paper, and then I'll get a tube bent, and then let's see how it ends up. Ah, and I need to clean up. I've got pieces of exhaust lying here, suspension lying here. It's a mess. But yeah, as long as it doesn't rain, I'm happy. But okay, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna go pack away all my stuff. I actually need to go to my wife, and then I don't know if I'm still gonna go. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.